Well, folks, it's a long time coming, but it's time to get our 406 small block Chevrolet with our budget Jegs heads fired up on the dyno here at Bob McVay's place. They have recently come back from being worked by the master, Eric Weingartner himself, out in Oklahoma, and we're going to get those things set on the engine today. We're going to get this thing fired up on the dyno. We're going to see what this thing makes, how much of a difference it makes having a set of masterfully ported heads on our 406. When we ran this before, it made about 470, 480 horsepower, somewhere in that range. So we're going to see whether or not we were limited by our head flow, or if maybe there's another limitation. Maybe it's camshaft, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's the intake manifold, because we are still running a dual plane intake manifold. We're going to figure that out today. And you guys are going to figure this out at about the same time I am going to figure this out, because this is going to be a very different episode. It's going to be guest hosted by Uncle Bob McVay himself. I have other driving and things I have to do today. So this is going to be an Uncle Bob episode. It's never been done before. I don't know if it'll ever be done again. We'll see if Bob enjoys this part or if he hates being on camera like this. But I'm going to leave the bits and pieces that I came up here with, and I'm going to leave my camera, and I'm going to let Bob take the show from here. So I have no idea how this is going to go. It could be great. It could be terrible. I could maybe never want to talk to Bob ever again. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's something enjoyable. Hopefully it's entertaining. And we'll find out how much power this 406 small block Chevrolet will actually make. We'll find out together. Totally different kind of episode than I've ever done and that you've probably ever seen. Let's hope for the best. I've got to get back on the road. See you later. There's your parts, boys. Good luck.
So welcome to Adventures with Austin. It's more like Adventures with McVay. Dealing with Austin. He is a very good friend and a very nice guy. So it's all good, but I like to harass him. So we'll start with that to begin with. So Austin has a tendency to continually bring me parts that usually don't fit. And that the best of his ability to try to get the right stuff, it still doesn't fit. So he makes multiple trips back and forth to the parts store, which I would like to, in the future, allow me to get them, because then I can get what fits. It saves me time. So this is another characteristic of sometimes you get what you pay for. So he brought me these push rods, or these rockers. Well, because of the valve springs that I like to use, they do not clearance, so they do not work. They don't fit. So we luckily had a set off of my old 415 that I used to run in my drag car, and so we are going to put them on and borrow them. Now, in time, we may, as we do testing, we may actually have a set of shafts to put on this to try and test with. These are 1.5s against 1.6s. But we wanted to make a comparison to exactly the same test that we did the last time this thing was on here. And so once we do that and see what exactly Eric's flow on his porting did to increase horsepower, then we're going to make changes. We're going to go to a different camshaft, different rocker arms, different intake. It's going to be a lot of changes on this 406, and truly by the time I am done with this deal, I feel that I am very comfortable about putting a combination of a 406 together that runs really well. Just because of testing, not because I'm smart in any ways. It's trial and error type of thing. So Austin is on adventures to Indiana. So we are left with a camera. So that may be somewhat in trouble for him. But we're starting off this video as one of the many problems that we've had as we've been putting this back together about parts. So and it ain't Jegs' fault. Don't get me wrong, it ain't Jegs' fault. It's about how complicated motor parts are. And it really takes an individual figuring this stuff out, because the smallest type of bind causes major catastrophic failure. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here. So anytime you're putting stuff together, really look closely at the whole picture. Don't drive past what you're trying to find is wrong. So I'm going to do my best at doing this. I've never done this. but we're going to try. I know a lot of you people think I need to have a YouTube channel, and I don't know about that. I'm not a wizard. I'm just a mechanic. So, but anyways, we're going to start with that, and then we'll come right back to you here in a minute. So, welcome back. As I said in the beginning of this, that Austin is in Cincinnati. So I'm having to talk more than I normally like to talk. But we got this 406 on the dyno, and we're getting ready to make a pull, kind of get a baseline. This carburetor he got after it was dynoed in here, I believe. It's still a 750. So I don't believe this was the exact one that was dynoed before. I got to question him on that. But we didn't put any spacer plate on. I'm just trying to get a feel of where we're at. And also ATM, I spoke with them today, and they are sending me the 750 that goes with this engine. So I want to run it today, just kind of get a baseline, make sure everything's okay, there ain't any issues. And then tomorrow when the ATM comes in, we'll kind of put it on there, and we'll see how it compares to this one here. And then we'll start really doing a lot more testing. So that's where we're at. We'll see it run in a second. That was good. All right, let's make it over. And then I'll talk. So we made a first pull at 35 degrees. It was a little sluggish. I could feel it needed some timing, and I believe it made 488. And so we went ahead and increased the timing. I think the carburetor's a little rich, and it just turned, I believe, 502, which is considerably more than it was the last time. So we're at, I think it was 480. Yeah. So we're 20 horse more than we was just right now at the beginning. So I got an AFR that is kind of out of sync. I'm trying to replace the AFRs to see if I can get that taken care of, and we may end up and try to lean out this carburetor a little bit to make it better. So we're doing good. Sounds good. So I took the bowls out and I dropped them down about 3 hole sizes on each front and rear. Started it up much cleaner, much cleaner. So we're going to make a pull on it and see how well it runs, whether it makes more horse, but it surely does sound better. And I'm wanting to figure out this carburetor, practice figuring out this carburetor to where I like it real well, and then we're going to do some more stuff. Just really sounds better. What's it at? What's happening? Oh yeah. What's happening?
That was mean. She sounded mean.
Let's run on. Very, sounded very good. Welcome back. Today is day 2, I believe. Yesterday was the day we got this thing started and ran. I made an initial pull and then advanced the timing up to 39 degrees. And made another pull. It made 5.0.
It was 5:05.
5.05, and then it backed it up with a 5.06. But in the middle of that, before it went 5.06, is I leaned the carburetor out a little bit. It was just rich. It sounds wonderful. It sounds really good. So we're going to make another pull on it right now, see if it backs up 5.06, and then I'm going to put a cam carburetor on there and see what it makes, and then we'll move on. Alrighty, so we just did our first pull here on day 2. Went 5.06.08. Yesterday when I finished it was 5.06.34, 541, exactly the same horsepower and torque. So we was able to duplicate this same combination from yesterday to today. So we're going to change and put the ATM carburetor on and see what it does. we made that last pull, and so I thought it was a tad rich, so I took 2 numbers out of it on the front and back, and my EGTs went from 12-ish to now just 13-ish, or I should say 1250 or 1150 to 1250 to 13. So I leaned it out a tad, it picked it right back up, so it's matching the other carburetor, and it sounds good. Sounds good. So now we're going to do more testing. So that was with the spacer on it and the ATM carburetor. It really didn't pick it up like I thought it would. Surprised me a little. So we put the trick flow intake that Bill runs an awful lot. We have one of those in the shop here. So we put it on. We took the dual plane off. It sounds a lot more somewhat responsive as far as above. I got a little hesitation I got to work on, but let's pull it like it is before I make any other adjustments, so it's just back to back other than the intake. No spacer. We'll put the spacer on after this. I think we found a little restriction there.
Yes, I do. I do too. Yeah, I picked up a bunch.
.537, 528. Lost some torque.
Yeah, we picked it up in horse though.
But we picked it up in horse. And so you can see it just separated. Woo!
That was good. That's good.
Make some small adjustments here on the carburetor. We're going to give her another pull and see what she does. Okay, we now have put the 2-inch spacer on there. Let's see what difference it makes.
Like 17 horse.
Yes, sir. That's what it should do when it needed. So, looking at this, it went from 538 to 547 with the spacer, and the torque went from 532 to 534. So it picked up 2 foot-pounds of torque with the spacer. It likes it. It likes it really well. I think that's going to conclude this portion. We're going to put a different camshaft in it now, tomorrow, and do all this again.